Everybody, let me show you what I got going on over here today. I have this Lenovo X1 Carbon. Starts up, everything seems fairly normal, maybe a little slow in the beginning, but then after a while, total freeze. No mouse, no keyboard, nothing. Total freeze. Happened to the customer a couple times, and it happened here. I don't know, it took about 5 minutes. He says it usually happens pretty quick, but it took a while. So the first thing to determine is if it's hardware or software. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to remove his drive. My initial feeling on this is that it's going to be hardware, just because the way that froze. Because it wasn't like a, you know, when Windows freezes, stops responding, that you can still see some activity, but just, you know, really can't open up a program. I mean, everything froze. We're playing a YouTube video, and even, you know, the sound got distorted as in a buzz. It went into like a buzz. So the idea here for the diagnosis is, first I like to remove the customer's drive, just because of the starting and restarting and all that kind of stuff could wind up crashing the operating system. So that's one of the things that I recommend you do. So we're going to test hard drive. We're going to test with another drive. We're going to use one of my house drives on it. Run that. We're going to run a mem test, which I think that's what it's going to wind up being. I might actually run that. I think I'm going to run the mem test right off of the bat. See what we get. Now the memory on this is on the board. You do have the SSD right there, but the RAM, I believe, are these chips down here. So if it does have a fault in the memory, it's a no-go. It's not going to be repairable. So let's get some power over here. Yeah, I took that SSD out without disconnecting the battery, which has a very little chance of creating a problem, but the proper way is, yes, disconnect the battery. Do as I say, not as I do. Right? Did I put that little screw back in? Do that. Let me put this little screw back in, just so we don't wind up misplacing it. Yeah, and I'm going to grab my mem test. We'll just go straight into that. So I got my mem test here and mem test UEFI boot on my flash drive. Just put that there so it doesn't lie flat and suffocates the fan. So let's see how it goes. Should just boot to it, since there's no other drive in there. That's one dirty screen. It's going. This USB has a little light on it, so those are good sometimes, so you could actually see activity. All right. I can get you in there. I had an X1 Yoga not too long ago that had a similar problem. I think we had problems installing Windows. So it would start and then it would have failures. So it was in a commercial environment, I believe a school, and they were just gonna, reset the computer, reinstall, reimage the drive, and they couldn't. So they brought it in kind of for that. Can't reinstall Windows, or Windows is crashing on installation. And we did the mem test, and it failed right away. I did do I started with testing with the house drive, and it kind of crashed. I went through an attempted installation of Windows, and it did crash. It was kind of weird. Usually, your memory failures, they kind of, when you have problems that are kind of arbitrary, it's not like the same exact thing. Like with that Windows install, it would kind of install, then it would fail at some point, then I would, try it again, and it did something different, and it's just kind of arbitrary. So when you get those, because the memory, if it has some type of failure, it's going to fail or give you, a problem when it hits that spot, unless it's totally bad, right? So if you got a memory that's shorted out, it's just not going to work at all. But if there's areas that are bad, one of the chips, unless you got to run through, like that's what memtest does. It runs through the whole, takes a long time because it goes through every which way the memory is being used, non-stop, as opposed to running the operating system. It's going to use certain areas, and maybe it'll run for 5 minutes until it gets to that particular area of the memory that fails and makes it crash. So we're going to let that run. It's going to take a while. I'll pause this and we'll come back to it. And there it is. Didn't take too long. It's been running for 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and you can see all these red errors right there. You got 23 errors already. It'll keep going and probably still keep adding to that list. And you do want to keep an eye on this when you run it, because let's say it runs into errors and then just restarts or freezes up or something like that, and you're not able to actually see the screen. You might not be too sure kind of what happened. So, but here you can see we're at 52 errors. So that was a quick diagnostic right there, based on a little bit of experience, right? We got right down to the point. Otherwise, probably the first knee-jerk reaction would be reinstall Windows, right? I mean, you don't want to do that, especially on a, customer has all his stuff set up, he's got his data set up, and even if you did a backup, I mean, it's basically unnecessary. You don't want to try to find the problem. If you're going to reinstall Windows, it's because you've determined that Windows is got a problem. So the easier than that is to just try it with another operating system that you have lying around, or another disk, or install Windows on another drive and see what happened. But in this case, boom, jumped into mem test. Bad memory on the board. Can't be, I mean, it probably could be fixed, but that's not going to be something we're going to offer a repair on. So if he has a warranty, that should be covered by the warranty, but that's not something that we're going to offer a repair for, other than basically replacing the board. Need to replace a board like this, we would go on eBay and find something there. Bring that up. We'd go on eBay and take a look and see if it makes sense, a used board, and change it out. That's what we would do there. And that's what's going on right here, right now, at PC 911.